All right, now let's think about pitch of complex tones. We already did earlier in the first video. So in the example on the slide, if we have sinusoid, if we have a complex tone with these harmonic frequencies, 200, 400, 600, 800, and 1000 hertz, then this will sound as if the tone was one sound and the pitch is 200 hertz. We had that demo earlier. So that's what the pitch of complex tone is like. Then the next question is, what if the fundamental component is missing? Okay, so what if the frequency component of 200 hertz is missing? Then will that change our pitch sensation? So because 200 is now gone, it will be, perceived higher in pitch. So let's listen first. Okay, so for this demo, I'm gonna just make 300. So we had a earlier 300 hertz tone, complex tone. So I'm gonna play earlier the tone that we made, 300, 600, 900, and 1200, and then I'm gonna play again the one with missing fundamental. Okay, so here's the original tone. Here's the tone with missing fundamental. So what do you think? Is this tone with missing fundamental, is this complex tone with missing fundamental higher in pitch? The answer is you may find this sound a bit different in sound quality or timbre, but in terms of pitch, in terms of how you would hum with this, is actually the same. There's no change in pitch sensation. So it's like this. So this is actually a very well-known phenomenon, and this is very interesting phenomenon of hearing. It's called recovery of missing fundamental. Okay, so here's what's going on. So even if the fundamental frequency component is missing, still our auditory system is able to recover that component somehow in our brain. So we know the fundamental frequency should be 200 or 300 based on the harmonic structure that is available. This is very important, actually, very important phenomenon of all hearing. Here's a reason. In nature, in fact, fundamental frequency component can be missing, can be lost in communication or in communication transmission, such as telephone or electronics or all kinds of these things. Fundamental frequency component can be missing. Okay, so for example, if you think about cello music with very good bass, or cello or organ or cello with very strong bass, okay, very strong and grandiose bass is there. But if you play this sound with very small tiny iPhone or anything with very small tiny speaker, then actually you are not actually playing, you are not generating the fundamental frequency component at all, because physically it's almost impossible to generate that small, this low frequency tone with that small transducer. It's impossible, and if you actually measure it, the magnitude of that fundamental frequency component is really, really tiny, almost absent, almost gone. And yet, you don't question the pitch is changing. You may say, that this is, the sound is not as good as really big speaker, really fancy, big giant speaker. But, so I know that the sound is different. I know the timbre is different. But cello music doesn't become violin music just because it is played on very small, tiny speaker phone on the iPhone. Okay, still we perceive the music is there. We can recover the original pitch of the music, the sound, here in the brain. Also, another example is telephone. When you talk to someone on the telephone line actually cuts out all kinds of high frequency and also low frequency as well. So low frequency, it cuts out like below 300, 400 hertz, meaning that fundamental frequency of the male voice, such as somewhere like 80 hertz through like 150 hertz, something like that, or maybe even close to 200 hertz like that. These are mostly the range of male voice, fundamental frequency of male voice. These components are all gone, actually. It's all gone. And yet, when you talk to someone on the telephone, when you have no question that the other person is male or female, even though there is no or very little frequency component is available below 200 hertz. Why? How does it happen? Because our brain recover the missing fundamental. Okay, so this is very interesting and very useful and very important phenomenon that we have.